This has somehow gotten worse for the Boston Bruins as a brand new report has come out indicating Hampus Lindholm is set to miss another game, with moves being made by the Boston Bruins because of that. We're going to be breaking that down as well as going over the most recent report coming from Elliotte Friedman, once again sparking the reports of a Pavel Zacha trade. And we have a lot to talk about here, and you're not going to want to miss it. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video when we do touch on that. But before we do jump into this video, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you one favor, and that's if you haven't already, be sure to hit the sub button, join me here on the channel. We're covering everything Boston Bruins, and we have a lot of stuff to go over. You will not want to miss it, as this Bruins team is out of the losing column, back in the win streak, and hoping to get another one tomorrow. So you're going to want to stick around for that. We're going to have a lot to cover, but let's get straight into this, because first of all, going over this, Hampus Lindholm, as we know, has been out since the home opener for the Boston Bruins, and since then, it's been a day-to-day, expected coming back, and memories are returning to Bruins fans about last season with what happened, as he was day-to-day, week-to-week, and then missed nearly the entire season. And now fans are kind of bringing that back after what we've been seeing from him, and as of a few moments ago, the Bruins have placed him on the IR and called up Jonathan Aspirott. Now, this is obviously something to be a concern. However, Scott McLaughlin did kind of ease the minds of Bruins fans here by continuing and saying that Hampus Lindholm will only have to miss at minimum one more game, or at maximum, one more game, can miss a minimum of one more game and put on the IR. Aspirott gives them that extra body as they head to Ottawa, and Lindholm still can be activated at any point, as he's already missed enough time. And once again, that is retroactive to, I believe it was October 9th when that injury did occur. So this is something that obviously you don't want to see Hampus Lindholm on the IR. We've seen it enough already coming from last year, and a lot of fans have already voiced and kind of shown their concern on Twitter, on X, really anywhere where this news did drop about his injury. And as we know, I'll give you an update once again. It is not the knee that it was last year. It was not a knee at all. And from what we've been seeing and what we've been hearing, although we don't know for sure, it seemingly like is a pulled groin, which of course is definitely tough to skate with. So would make sense for the kind of day-to-day, as you have to really base it off how Hampus is feeling. But going into this as well, obviously the concern is there, and it's very hard not to have that concern, since it is Hampus Lindholm, and his injury history has really shown that he has missed quite a bit of time over the past few seasons. But this, I think, is just something to get an extra body here ahead of the back-to-back. Gives them a good opportunity to go in here and make another kind of addition to this defense, which already is still hurt with Jordan Harris being on the IR as well, being out long-term from what we've been hearing, as well as surgery likely being an option. And as a result, Michael Callahan was called up. Now Jonathan Aspirott joining here, and on this left side will likely give at least someone a break to go into this back-to-back. And like we always know, this season there's going to be a lot of back-to-backs due to February being the Olympics. A lot of missed time going to be there for the NHL, so a pretty crammed schedule here in this one. And this kind of makes sense, of course. Hampus Lindholm, as we know, only missing at least one more game, but can be returning on this whenever. That's one big thing that I think is going to be a valuable piece for the Bruins, to add just another body. Whether that means he will come into at least what we're expecting to be, either an Islanders game or a Sabres game. I think both are something that we can really assume would be the earliest date he would return. And as we saw Scott McLaughlin say, we'll miss at least one more game. So that was likely, almost certainly be Senators, maybe also the Islanders, giving them an extra body for the back-to-back, whether they go Michael Callahan for one, Jonathan Aspirott for two, and then have Hampus return for the game against the Sabres. Either way, it will be a good result. And like I mentioned yesterday's video, that we had to talk about the defense because of what's been going on with this team. The team has really found out what they wanted to do and found out kind of that rhythm that they need to get into now that they split up Mason Lohrei as well as Charlie McAvoy. So going into this now with Jonathan Aspirott, being called up, he's been a very solid defenseman over the past few years, especially the last 2 years with the Calgary Wranglers. 29 points and 33 points in 65 games and 66 games, respectively. But putting up some solid points. Not a goal scorer by any means, but is a nice body to have there on the blue line. So this is certainly something I think the Bruins are going to explore with. Of course, his first year with the Bruins being this one. 5 games with Providence, 3 points, already off to a great start down there, and he almost could become the 7th defenseman now with the absence of Jordan Harris going into at least the next couple of months is what it's going to be seeming like. So this is going to, try out, I guess we could say, for the 26-year-old, who is going to be a very interesting addition to this blue line, whether it is in Providence or in Boston. So having that come down to, with as well, the hockey stat cards we saw with Mason Lohrei taking the big jump after being separated from Charlie McAvoy, and Charlie McAvoy seemingly needing at least some sort of fix here on this team. It certainly seems like this Bruins defense is going to be in a very good spot going into the next couple of games at least, but it's only been one game. We still need to see what we're doing, and especially with Hampus Lindholm still being out, still having only 3 games played with no points and 50 minutes time on ice throughout his first 3 games, he will be an integral part of this defense once he does return. But as we know, with his injury past, the Bruins are not going to rush him back by any means. They want to make sure that he is fully ready to go at any point throughout the start of the season. Now, they want to make sure he will be able to play this entire season and not strain anything and continue on with it. So, I mean, the hockey stat card from what we've seen, as well as the defensive pairings from the last few games. Of course, this is not the defensive pairing we saw in the most recent game. Mason Lohrei was dropped down with Henry Jokiharju on the second line, Peak with Callahan, and Zadorov up with McAvoy. But once again, adding Jonathan Aspirott, I think, adds just quite a bit of room that they can use to just have a breath with. And over the next couple of games with these back-to-backs, make sure that they're getting everybody at as good as they can. So let me know what you think about that. I think that, the highlight of it, or kind of the main part of this being on the IR, is certainly a little bit of concern. But when it comes down to the reasoning, having that extra body to be able to bring up to the NHL is certainly a better idea when it does come down to the back-to-back. And if I were a betting man and, kind of bringing back when we would see Hampus Lindholm return, my guess would be against the Sabres, at least as the earliest for his return to the blue line. So let me know what you think about that. But before we do finish this video off, I want to touch on a little bit about the reports from Elliotte Friedman about Pavel Zacha. And we're going to have a full video about this as well, once again, coming either later today or tomorrow with no Bruins game tonight. There's a lot of kind of speculation going on about what the plan is. An NHL Room Report really summed it up. And in the next video, so be sure to stick around, hit the sub button if you want to stay up to date with that. We're going to have all the other kind of added tweets that really built out this full report, and of course the report from Elliotte Friedman that Pavel Zacha has been, has that interest from the Canucks once again. It's going on quite some time. The Canucks and Bruins have been on and off about this. They've had, they kind of had a dance. The Canucks and some other teams are seeing if they can pry Zacha out, and that's from Saturday Headlines from Elliotte Friedman. And of course, we saw this before, but right now, I think the way that we've seen this team be structured, I think it would be an absolutely terrible idea to get Pavel Zacha out of this team at this very moment. He's a very good player so far this season. He's going to be a guy that, at least right now, with second on the points on the Bruins, is going to be a big piece for this team. And I mean, being where he is right now, being on the second line, still producing nearly point per game with Casey Middlestat and Victor Arvidsson on his line, it's going to be an interesting way to see how much the Bruins can really rely on him throughout the season, but also if they are inclined to trade him near the trade deadline, if his value can significantly go up. That would be my kind of idea behind it. But if you're clicking right now, and if this Bruins team can kind of get back in, lock in on defense, and kind of just put that losing streak, that 6-game losing streak behind them, this team, I still will say, it can be a playoff team and have the talent to be. They just need everything locked in. The offense has been there all season. The goaltending has been there all season. And now that that defense seems, at least from last game, to be fixed, I think they have a very good chance going into next game as well, and also for the remainder of the season. And, of course, regarding any injuries, once everybody's healthy, I think we have a very good pairing there on the defense. So let me know what you think about that. And remember, I'm going to put a full video out on this, very soon. I'm not sure exactly when it will be, but that means you just have to hit the sub button, hit the bell as well to stay up to date with all of your Bruins news here on the channel. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below about that as well, because I feel like this is now at least something that we're going to be seeing quite a bit over the next coming days and weeks when this stuff is continuing to trickle down, as well as Philip Hedl being out from the Vancouver side of things with the injury. They're now looking once again for that second-line center, and I'm curious to see if this will kind of re-spark the Montreal Canadiens rumors as well, with Patrik Laine being out for, I believe, 3 to 4 months or 2 to 3 months. Long time. So Pavel Zacha is going to be filling a lot of holes across the NHL here, but right now, he still is ours. So let me know what you think about that there in the comments below. That's all I have in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.